Hey guys, the Bears fall 38-13 to the San Francisco 49ers, and what a horrible start to the Thomas Brown era. I don't know where to start with this one other than to say that one of the biggest matchups that nobody talked about all week was Kyle Shanahan. I don't care if he doesn't have Christian McCaffrey or Jordan Mason or Trent Williams. Kyle Shanahan against Eric Washington, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, who took over as play caller this week with no Matt Eberflus. And this is where losing Matt Eberflus did not help the cause for the Bears defense. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm in no way saying that the Bears should have kept Matt Eberflus. But if Thomas Brown is truly vying for a spot right now as the head coach of the Bears, I don't know how you keep him around with this staff currently in place, because you lost your defensive play caller, which was the best part of your team. It was the only reason that the Bears were in those games when they even had a chance against Green Bay or Minnesota or Washington or Detroit was their ability to slow the other team down in the red zone and Flus's ability to make second half adjustments. And there were just no adjustments there today from Washington. And I thought that Matt Bowen, who you hear on the score all the time, one of the best football minds that I know, former Iowa Hawkeye, said it best. Kyle Shanahan has too many answers for zone. And boy, did he. It was clear that Washington was trying to take away the running game and was just going to drop into a zone behind it, to the tune of George Kittle 6 catches for 151 yards. Juwan Jennings 7 for 90 and 2 touchdowns. And they even got the running back Isaac Guerrero on a couple of times where he was matched up one-on-one with a linebacker, 2 catches for 50 yards. All in all, Brock Purdy 20 of 25, 325 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The yardage total after the first half was San Francisco 319 to the Bears 4. And the beat goes on. The Bears have been one of the worst first half teams in football, and they just can't start fast. And they come out of the halftime break and have a 16-play, 70-yard touchdown drive capped off by a beautiful throw from Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze in the back corner of the end zone, where Odunze did a great job, great concentration to get both of his feet down. But they just couldn't get anything going in the first half. They could not stop San Francisco, and they had 4 total yards of offense. So where do they go from here? First of all, this is a team that's going to be drafting in the top 10, maybe top 5. I don't see them winning another game at this point. I just don't. This defense without Andrew Billings is Swiss cheese. And now I don't have a whole lot of faith in Eric Washington to make adjustments with the current talent that is there. And you're seeing exactly what everybody was saying about the holes in this roster. In the trenches. It's in the trenches, man. You've got to be good up front in this league to win. And let's start on the offensive line. The guy that they paid the most money, Nate Davis, has already been cut. They have invested 1 first-round pick on the offensive line and the contract of Nate Davis. Nate Davis was a total bust, a total waste of money. And their first-round pick, Darnell Wright, voila, he's their best offensive lineman. But they have Matt Pryor, who is a backup at best. Probably, he's kind of a tweener, but you don't know if he's a guard or a tackle. He's been a little bit better at guard than tackle, but certainly not anything to write home about at that position. Tevin Jenkins has been inconsistent this year and is always hurt. And then there's Braxton Jones, who we have to talk about him, because Poles has had multiple opportunities to upgrade at left tackle. And look, Rome Odunze, I still think he has a bright future, but they passed on Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. Premium talent left tackle. They have passed on a lot of offensive line talent, not only in the draft, but in free agency as well. And I think this is another example of Ryan Poles getting a little bit too high on his own supply about the fact that this is my guy. I drafted him in the 5th round, and look, he has exceeded the expectations of what a 5th rounder should be. And you're right, Ryan. He has. A lot of 5th rounders don't even make the roster. And he has started for 3 years in the NFL. And if you look at his PFF rating, all is copacetic, right? But the problem is, he's an average, at best, left tackle in the league. And he has a fatal flaw. His inability to anchor, his inability to hand fight, to get his hands inside, establish inside leverage, and avoid getting long-armed and push right back into his quarterback. And he gave up 2 sacks today, and it's funny because one of them saw him actually, he thought he won the rep. He gave up a sack early in the game to former Bear Leonard Floyd, where he did exactly what he likes to do. Leonard Floyd is a speed rusher, so he took a wide angle on him. Braxton Jones got his arms extended, pushed him upfield, pushed him over the top of the pocket to allow Caleb Williams to step up. And Caleb Williams did step up. He then held on to the ball for an extra tick, and then he got sacked. But then later in the game, Yetur Gross-Matos, Braxton Jones, allows him to get right into his chest with his right arm, push him directly into Caleb Williams for the sack. So every drop back, Caleb Williams is having to read his own left tackle to see, is he getting bull rushed or is it a speed rusher? If it's a speed rusher, he knows he has to step up in the pocket. If it's a bull rusher, he has to watch to see which way the rusher is going to go to decide which way he's going to dodge, right or left. That's not the most comforting feeling. And then there's the defensive line. You did spend fairly premium draft picks on Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens, and you never have been able to establish depth at that position. You lost Andrew Billings, and the defense has been terrible since he's been out. Absolutely awful. And this gets me to my final point. Where do they go from here? What's going to be the discussion this week? To me, the discussion has to be, as you look forward to this head coaching search, are you sure that you want Ryan Poles making this head coaching hire? And you already saw it. You've seen it all over Twitter, and it's a legitimate question. Because he's a former offensive lineman, and he has neglected the offensive line in front of his rookie quarterback. And he's missed on some draft picks on the defensive line. Matt Eberflus, in his defense, the most important position is the defensive tackle, the 3 tech, who lines up on the outside shoulder of the guard. And he never got him a good one. Andrew Billings was a fine player, but once again, you need depth, you need dominance, you need, if you can find a Chris Jones, that's great, or an Aaron Donald, those guys are some of the greatest players of our generation, I get it, but you've got to spend high-level either draft capital or free agency capital on that position. He just refused to. So right now, the Bears are getting their ass kicked in the trenches, and they really can't do anything about it. So bad situational football, as we saw in the first quarter, where DJ Moore on a 2nd down and 10, down 7, dropped an easy first down completion. It made it 3rd and 10. Caleb gets sacked on the next play. Bears have to punt. 49ers score 4 plays later. And then, as I mentioned, the drive out of half, 16 plays, 70 yards, touchdown, capped off by Rome Odunze. And then Cole Kmet drops a 2-point conversion. So for a team that all week has been showing, Matt Eberflus, he was the worst, and we are so happy for him to be gone. And this just all needed to change. To go out there and get your ass kicked like that, it's fucking embarrassing, right? Like, if you're a player and you were chirping all week, and look, I agree with you. Situationally, at the end of games, his horrible challenges, he had to go. But at this point, if you're the organization, he went. He's gone. Now they're trying to figure out who stays and who goes. And right now, I don't know. I don't know how you go about fixing this with the current regime. So, I go back to one of my earlier videos. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, saying he wants organizational alignment and he wants an organization to reach out to him and explain how things have gone wrong in the past and what they're going to do to fix them. Kevin Warren, I'm going to leave you with one question. Are you sure that Ryan Poles is the right person to be hiring this next football coach? All right, guys, I'm going to have some content all week. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much. We'll talk later.